just described, right? Like
What's
on last week's episode, we described the coaching trees. Sean Payton, Dan Campbell, and many disciples have come from that Sean Payton, New Orleans Saints. And sure enough, Sean Payton seemingly makes the same mistake in a game where points are at a premium and you got to get the points when you're down in the red zone. He goes for it on fourth down with a backup quarterback where you know you're going to need the points. The context of that situation begs me to go, why?
Old school always comes back, I think, right? A lot of old school stuff gets out of, they get rid of it. They quit doing it, and the numbers support it, and then the numbers don't support it. It's got to be getting to the point where somebody's going to go and say, I'm not going for it on fourth down anymore. I'm taking the 3 points. I don't know.
It is flipping because people are realizing that the flow of a game, the context of a game, has to count for something.
Yeah.
If I know, it's like the confidence factor, right? You've talked to linemen, right? Whether it was a defensive lineman who was in front of you when you were playing linebacker, or flip to the offensive side of the ball, your own feedback that you're getting from your offensive line. Like we used to call plays in the huddle, and Matt Carey, God bless him, may he rest in peace, would look at me and go, that's not going to be there. Like, this guy's good. He's beating us to the double team, right? Like this guy's got to step on me, right? The linemen know when they're overmatched or when the defensive scheme is working against them.
Yeah.
And you got to take the feedback in the moment of the game. If you're getting dominated on the right side of your offensive line, or if the guy is beating the double team and pushing the play up the field, they know that this particular play that you're trying to run in a short yardage situation is dead on arrival.
Yeah.
And
it's momentum. You lose momentum. You get shut down on you turn the ball over on the 20, it's momentum. You just lose momentum. Or nowadays, these kickers kick from 50, 60 yards. If they miss, that's a huge turnover.
It is. It is.
It's
So
huge.
that's the flip side of it.
Yeah.
If you do send the kicker out there and the kicker doesn't pay dividends for you, then you're even in. And I'm sure that's what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and everybody who has adopted this go for it at all costs mentality, I'm sure that's their thinking. Hey, man, you could also miss these field goals. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Seattle's field goal kicker, we're talking about the matchup for this Super Bowl. He's only 85% on the year.
Yeah.
That means 15% of the time he botches it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like he's booming them 60 all the time.
Look at
his long is 57 on the year.
Well, watching the last games, there was a ton of missed field goals. A ton on both sides. So, when it's snowy and it's windy and the snow's in your eyes, it's different than when you're in a dome and you're covered and Denver should have known that. It was their fucking stadium.
Here's what else Denver should have known. And this is another one where you think, and I really like Sean Payton. I know some people think he's a dick, and I know
I'm sure he is a dick, but
I like him. As a coach, I like him, and I like him at the microphone. I don't understand why with a backup quarterback, in a situation where the guy is playing game manager, right? His job was to not lose the game and allow the defense to put you in good positions to make a couple plays and win. Sneak out the back door with a W. Right?
Yeah, what was that fourth down? 4th and 5? Were they
No. It was only 1.5. It was only
a couple yards.
Yeah, no, it was under 2 yards because it was a 4th and 1, but it was more like 1.5.
Kick the fucking field goal.
When you're down there and you got a backup quarterback and you're trying to get him some confidence, and he's already like the first drive was his big moment, right? The pass to Mims.
Yeah.
He had his moment. Double down on that, get him some more confidence with a field goal. Now, to me, and then of course the next series, hindsight is 2020. He tries that little push pass. It ends up going behind him because the momentum of his body getting knocked back, and all of a sudden now he gave up a touchdown to Drake May.
Yeah,
because that was just a give up of a touchdown.
Yeah.
You can see the only point in that game where Denver's defense was discombobulated is when they had to go on the field in the red zone. Not knowing, because remember it was the weird, Vrabel didn't even know, is he pulling the red flag?
Yeah,
Are they giving this to me? Or are we getting the ball here? Is it an incomplete pass? Defense came out, they were completely on their heels.
Yeah, just for me, it's momentum. You just, you know how many football games we've been in when all of a sudden the tide changes, right? Right? The offense starts playing well. They pick up a few first downs. Defense stops them, changes momentum. So does not scoring. Does not scoring.
It is the little things.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about all the little things in this, your Super Bowl preview. Could be a double episode. I don't know. Whatever happens.
We'll talk.
If we get loose.
We'll talk till we're done talking.
But it's because you got 2 weeks of preparation for a Super Bowl, this is the Super Bowl preview, and it is time to crack-a-lacka. Oh, that was nice. That was nice. That was well tuned for this broadcast as we come to you from Speakeasy Studios in Brighton, Michigan. We are taking the show on the road, as we have discussed in prior episodes. It's now confirmed. We will be coming to you on February 12th. That is a Thursday night. It could become a usual thing. It could become the normal Thursday night at the Downtown Poorhouse in Plymouth, Michigan, right there off of Freilich. Downtown Poorhouse, the sports bar, will be hosting the GOATQuest podcast. And I believe the 12th, if I'm not correct, is either the U.S. hockey team's first game in the Olympics. It's right there. We'll be talking about the Olympics. We'll be talking about the U.S. men's hockey team. We'll be there. We will have consumed another Super Bowl number 60. And this is something that pisses me off, gets under my skin.
LX.
Roman numerals.
LX.
LX.
I know.
Right? It looks like a size on a shirt at Dick's Sporting Goods if you're dyslexic. But the idea of continuing to use these Roman numerals, I think it's past its prime.
Yeah, it's getting a little confusing for old people like us.
And I thought they were going to do away with it at Super Bowl 50 a decade ago. Because if you remember, 50 was the only time that they did not use the Roman numeral.
Okay.
Because the Roman numeral for 50 is
L.
Yeah. And they didn't want it to be Super Bowl L. It's a loser, right? Like this is going to be a loser Super Bowl. The L had a stigma to it, so they just called it Super Bowl 50 on the marketing materials. I wish they would have just kept going. 51, 52. Now I'm back to LX, and I'm going to, pretty 60. Soon there'll be 4 of these damn digits, XXLIV.
You're not making it to when there's 4. You'll be dead.
No, there will be. There's because it's the way they do the prefixes to them with the 1 before the V, and I don't even know what they are.
Yeah, what's the next one? What's 100?
I'm not Roman, all right? Nor has anybody else been Roman for centuries, right?
This is true.
Since Italy. Oh, and what a great country Italy is. You been?
Yeah.
It's I would
been to Bolzano, been to Venice.
If I could have a little place in Italy,
northern Italy.
If I could have a little place in Italy, I would change my tune about these Roman numerals right now. Yeah,
that's all you need.
Little Tuscan villa,
a little hut.
Maybe on Lake Como. You know, maybe.
Well, now
George and Amal would be our neighbors. You know, my wife would be down for this. I can play this one all the way out. But Roman numerals suck. Regardless of how awesome Italy is, Roman numerals suck. And I'm sticking to that point. So, Super Bowl 60.
Mm-hmm.
Your New England Patriots,
yes,
who are arriving on campus in Santa Clara, California, for their 12th appearance in the Super Bowl. If they lose, they'll only be 6-6. How about that for a
is that right?
Little tidbit.
Oh.
Right? They've been there a lot, but they haven't won as often as people think. Obviously, Tom Brady, the GOAT of all quarterbacks, maybe all players in football. He has the 7 wins, the one without. But the 6 wins are all his for New England.
So another quick little stat. Before the season, both New England and Seattle were over 50-1 odds to win the Super Bowl. That's never happened.
Ooh.
That's never happened where both teams are over 50-1 odds.
But wasn't New England like 100?
Probably, yeah. I imagine, yeah.
Because I think the
new coach fired the old coach. I think
Seattle was 6,000 or 60-1, right? which would have put, and I think that New England was almost double that. So I think New England might have been.
It was the biggest turnaround ever, from 4-13 to 17-3. Yeah.
So the 14-3, that's what they are, right? The 14-3, both teams.
The 14.
Before the playoffs started, their regular season records were 14-3. You got a number 1 seed versus a number 2 seed. It was a snowball in Denver. So we gave you the little entree. Obviously, by now you know that the New England Patriots topped the Denver Broncos 10-7. You probably know from, even if you didn't watch the game, that Sean Payton could have kicked the field goal. They also missed a field goal where Stidham ran out of bounds for a 3-yard loss, and the kick missed the upright by about 3 yards. And it was bending.
Yeah.
Like literally, if you just throw the ball out of bounds and the ball's 3 yards closer, he might have hit that field goal or doinked it in off the inside of the post. So field goal kicking in the snow, obviously it's never a guarantee, but Lutz was money. He was that wasn't a weak link for Denver.
No. When they brought him in, I guarantee you he said, I want Lutz. If we can get him for this price, Peyton said, I want Lutz.
And when you look at what Denver was designed to do, everything in that game set up perfectly for them. The opening drive, getting up 7 early is exactly what you wanted. They moved the ball down the field. They're in the red zone again. As you heard me scratching my head, I don't know why they didn't take the 3 points and went for it on 4th down, but that was the beginning of the end. And Stidham made the big mistake with the push pass fumble that gave them their only touchdown for New England. Yeah. New England could not get a touchdown. They could not get in the end zone after that. Everything else from that was the field goal.
Look at the lines, too. Everybody that was looking at the line said, how can they only give 3.5? Look.
It was.
Look at the final score.
Yeah.
Somebody knows. It's amazing how these lines makers get that thing down.
But
unbelievable.
And again, Stidham, the backup quarterback, who all the ta-da was about, he made the play in the beginning. As much as I want to fault him for the push pass and the turnover, you kind of knew he was going to turn it over once.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I thought he played like an 8 or a 9. I thought he played.
I thought he was lower than that.
He played great
in the snow. He managed the game. I give him a 5.5 or a 6. I think he was average.
Oh, you're out of your mind. He's sitting on the bench with probably the best quarterback they've had since Elway on the field. He knows he's never going to.
Peyton Manning was between Elway and
yeah, that's true, but probably. He could be, Peyton Manning was in there.
It wasn't the Peyton Manning of his prime in Denver, but he was certainly.
But I thought he played well. Came in, managed the game, played well. They ran the football, played good defense. They were there in the end, but should have kicked the field goal.
Got to kick the field. Got to take the points. Yeah. Dan Campbell, please, and Dan Campbell has done a better job at some things. When he came to Detroit those first 2 seasons, of course, we were all. Somewhat infatuated with the turnaround, right? And the hard knocks and his attitude. He brought a brand new.
It didn't happen right away either.
It didn't happen right away, no. but a lot of people bought in because the way they finished the first season.
Yeah.
So you had people buying in. I bought in after a long time being off the Lions, but I always had reservations about his clock management. I didn't, even in the first 2 years, he's gotten better on the clock management side. The piece that's missing is this bravado of going for it on 4th down, regardless of the context. So I hope.
It's not even a thought. You can see it in his face. When you're watching it, you know he's going.
I hope the silver lining of him watching it now happen to his mentor in almost the same way.
Yeah.
I hope that they recalibrate the thinking on this go for it every time, no matter what the situation, and we see a better balance of context in the future for the Lions and for other teams.
I hate to say it, the only way that it's going to change is math. It's not.
You think the analytics is taking over?
I think analytics. I mean, I don't think it's philosophy. I'm just going to go for it on 4th down every time. I don't think it's a philosophy.
The analytics, here's why I think the analytics lie. Okay, you don't hear people talk about this. The probability changes based on the gravity of the situation.
Yeah.
People going for it on fourth down in the middle of the game in the second quarter at midfield when it means nothing is totally different than the whole game being on the line and the defense being amped up and having seen what you're doing for 3.5 quarters, and now it's like things change in the course of a game.
People don't get it, and I always talk about golf, and you've got a 100-yard shot. Well, if there's a couple hundred people watching you, dude, it's
grip it and rip it's not so easy.
No shit, you're topping it. You're doing all kinds of stuff that you never did in your life, and it's the same way in sports.
It's true. The lights get bright.
Same way in football. When the lights get bright, some people stop. And the funny thing is you don't know who that is until you go through it with them. You think you know. Oh, this guy's a really good golfer. He's got a great swing. You don't know shit.
No.
He gets 10 people watching him, and he can't do anything.
And I'm telling you, other than Tom Brady, okay, and this is why I think Tom Brady's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Other than Tom Brady, in short yardage situations on fourth down, it is so much easier for the defense because the defense just is pinning their ears back. They've got an assignment. They're going to pressure the quarterback. They're going to fill gaps. They're going to try to beat double teams. The offense has such a more difficult predicament.
Do the analytics support that? I don't think they do.
Well, the analytics would say that they get more fourth downs on fourth and short. But again, this is what I'm saying. It's the situation. If the situation is end of the game, we've seen everything that you're running, we've already been dominating you, you're worn down and we're not, and I just get to pin my ears back and go, that situation is easier for the defense.
Well, look at Ben Johnson in that Chicago game a couple weeks ago. And they said, why didn't you go for 2? He's like, we've been inside the 20 8 times and we haven't scored. Right? He goes, why would I go for 2?
Why would I think everything's going to change just because now it's the last play of the game?
Yeah.
Right.
And then we lose. And we could have won in overtime, and you guys want to hang me.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So New England and Denver resolved themselves in the snow. Big defensive stands. Christian Gonzalez was fantastic. He's going to have the career trajectory for Christian Gonzalez. The sky is the absolute limit for him at this point. I think he's going to end up becoming the highest paid corner. You've got a real opportunity to see something special if they decide, and it's a big if, they decide to put him on Jackson, Smith, and Jigba for the whole game. Yeah. If it's just the two of them in this thing, that could get wild.
One thing that we talk about a lot, or I like to talk about, is draft picks playing, right? And he was the first-round draft pick in 2023, so a couple of years ago, right? But this year, their first-round pick, Will Campbell, obviously all-pro starter, probably a 10, 15-year player. Travion Henderson, obviously he's contributed a lot, but he's not starting anymore.
Well, but he started games. He certainly showed he could be a starter.
Oh, he's the leading. He's the leading rusher. He's the leading rusher for the season,
and he's invaluable on the kick return game.
And then they got in third round. They had Kyle. Well, I just went through all their draft picks.
Drake May, obviously.
That was last year. But and then in the third round last year, they got Jared Wilson, who's the starting right guard. Right, they got him in the third round. 2 fourth-round picks are playing on special teams. Braden Swinson, a 5th-round pick. Andres, I don't even know how you say it, Borregales, the kicker.
Oh, the kicker, Borregales. Yeah,
kicker. He's starting. And their 7th-round pick, Marcus Bryant, made the team.
So they had a hell of a draft.
They had a hell of a draft. They're all playing.
They made a couple of moves. Yeah. I don't know if Stephon Diggs is what, but they made some moves.
Yeah.
And Vrabel got these guys believing that there's a secret sauce, and that secret sauce is playing together and playing mistake-free football.
Yeah.
They had the easiest schedule in the history of the NFL from some analytic descriptions. And I know that's
can't be the history of the NFL.
In that, well, the history that they've been keeping this doing this power ranking thing, right?
Okay.
And there are several schools of thought. Some of these analytics say no, it wasn't quite it was the easiest this year. But I have seen some that came out and said this was the easiest road to the Super Bowl. Now I don't know if they're also quantifying the weakness of the playoff schedule that they've had to go through, especially considering that they were a favorite in the NFC Championship, in the AFC Championship game on the road. So that, I mean, the situation in Denver with Stidham changed things significantly with Bo Nix being out. I feel bad for Bo Nix, but at the end of this, you're looking at it and you're saying it's the lowest scoring game in AFC Championship history, only 17 points.
Yeah.
You'd have thought for sure that Denver was going to win that.
Sure.
If you told me before it's going to be the lowest scoring game in the history of the AFC, I would say, oh, Denver's going to win that 7-0, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I would have never thought Stidham played like he did. He played great. I thought he was a 7 or 8.
You thought he did what he had to do as a game manager.
Yeah, no, not completely. They lost the game, but yeah. I mean, I thought he made some good passes, and I thought that he evaded the blitz. He understood what was going on offense. You know,
he didn't shit the bed.
No, not at all.
I agree.
Not at all.
I agree. He gave them enough to where they could have found a way to win that game.
Sure.
He did not find enough to win the game, but he put them in a situation where they could win the game.
Sure.
On the other side of the field, I feel the same exact way about Stafford in the other game, in the NFC game.
Yeah.
I don't think when I look, the Seattle Seahawks just had too much for them.
Yeah.
They just had too much firepower on both sides of the ball. I would have never expected the Rams to score 27 points in that game, and they did.
They did.
Because Stafford finds a way. I thought, okay, if Seattle scores the 31 points, I think the final score that I picked was like 31-14, 31-17.
The line in that game was like 4. Yeah, so I think they pushed. I think it was a push.
You look at that. So that was at Lumen Field in Seattle, which sets up this rematch of the former Super Bowl, the great Super Bowl where Pete Carroll decided to throw the ball instead of hand it to Marshawn Lynch.
Sure.
But if we dig into that Los Angeles game, the conversions, the timely plays throughout that game by Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
The ability for him to find Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, this guy's just always open. They move him into the slot a lot. He's not your prototypical long, rangy receiver. He's more like almost and I know they both went to Ohio State. He's more like a Joey Galloway.
Yeah.
He's always open. He runs precision routes, and his hands are incredible. Did you see the one-handed catch?
Yeah.
Going out of bounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big JSN fan, and you know I'm not an Ohio State fan, but what this guy has been able to do in a short period of time, and he did it to the Lions too. So I've seen it up close and personal. He is the real deal.
I mean, is it like an Amon-Ra St. Brown thing where the smaller, shiftier, tougher, the game's kind of, these 6-yard passes, these 4-yard passes that they turn into a first down. It just seems to change. I mean, and it's weird. I mean, how many huge receivers like Calvin Johnson do we see? Not that many anymore.
No, they're getting long in the tooth too.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I mean, you got
AJ
DK.
Brown.
Yeah, you still have some. There's still some big guys that are out there and athletic, but it seems like more of the Amon-Ra St. Brown
and JSN. We're going to call him JSN.
JSN because I can't say his name.
Kenneth Walker did what he had to do.
He's impressive.
He's had a very impressive playoff run. I mean, he had a great season, but they were spotting time between he and Charbonnet. Actually, I think now that he's featured, it might even be better for them.
Yeah.
He's not one of these running backs who's lacks durability. He actually kind of gets better when he gets more touches. So I think that that's going to be a situation that bodes well for them, even in the absence of Charbonnet going forward into the Super Bowl.
I mean, even New England's defense is very impressive. Gosh, I think the game should be even. I really should. I think it's going to come down to a field goal.
If I told you that Nakua was going to have 9 catches for 165 yards and Devontae Adams was going to have a great game,
yeah,
you thought the Rams were going to win the game.
There's no way they're going to lose. Correct.
I mean, you figure they would have had to shut one of them down.
Yeah.
And they really didn't.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Witherspoon didn't play poorly. The rest of that team, I'm trying to pull the other defensive backs for Seattle. Witherspoon, Job, Bryant, Julian Love, but the guy who just is so impressive is Imanwari.
Yeah,
who kind of plays a rover nickel.
Yeah,
but 6'3", 227 pounds.
Yeah,
can stop the run like a linebacker and cover anybody on the field. I mean, that's a special Swiss Army knife that most teams don't have.
That's why you're in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, you got players that step up and figure it out, and we talk about it that it's almost like a different game from college, and some guys figure it out.
Other than DeMarcus Lawrence, had you even heard of Seattle's defensive lineman?
No.
Like their leading sack man, Leonard Williams.
No.
He kind of came on the scene. I know he was out there.
Yeah, he played for New York before, right?
And and Byron Murphy, the nose tackle, but Williams and Murphy.
I don't think I remember who Byron Murphy. Who did he play for?
Byron Murphy and Williams have been the leaders of this defensive line all year for Seattle. DeMarcus Lawrence has contributed.
Yeah.
They've got Derek Hall as the rush end, and then Jared Ivey comes off the bench behind him. But when I look at they're almost a no-name defense.
Yeah.
Right now, you get to the back end, and Witherspoon and Imanwari are fully legit, right? Ernest Jones, Drake Thomas, Nwasu. They've got some players but even those linebackers who everybody raves about, you walking down the street, who's Ernest Jones, Drake Thomas, and Uchenna Nwasu?
No one.
Right?
I mean, if even
you're getting a lot of blank stares from a lot of people.
Even when you look at New England's linebackers, they're not Pro Bowlers.
No, Ellis gets a lot of run.
He does, but just in the last year, it's not like he's been doing this for 10 years. I mean, I didn't know him 2 years ago.
No.
I don't think he might.
Can't remember where he played, where he came over from, but he wasn't a star there at all, right? I mean, he totally blossomed and came into his own here, and you just can't stop the praise for what Mike Vrabel's been able to do in one year.
In every way. From all, I don't care about Drake. I mean, Drake May's good, obviously, but just at every position, they're tough at every position. Running back, tight ends, good receivers, good defense.
And still, Seattle finds a way to win these games, regardless of what. So I know
so does New England.
We find that we've been shining the light on this New England-Denver game. We moved over to Seattle and the Rams. I want to bring that one home. 31-27, Seattle beats the Rams in the NFC Championship game. Set in Seattle, they actually got some decent weather. It wasn't the same as what was going on in the Mountain States, but for the hometown guy, or at least the guy who Lions fans have some affinity for, Matthew Stafford threw for 374 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, probably his best playoff performance in a losing effort. And Matthew Stafford looks like he's got another 2-3 years.
Oh, he's got.
How long are these guys going to play?
I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers, they're trying to get McCarthy, the new coach in Pittsburgh. They're trying to reel Aaron Rodgers back in for another year. Yeah. And I got to admit, he didn't look bad at the end of the year.
In the old school way of playing football, quarterbacks were done by 35, probably most of the time. Even if you were good, probably low 30s, right? Now, when they don't get hit, and they can slide, and they can run out of bounds, and they can do all the stuff they do. They're not taking cheap shots to the head. It's a different game.
I got a stat for you. I don't know where I lost it right now, but the average player for these teams is like 26 years old.
I saw that, 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the average tenure in the NFL is under 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Both
teams is 3 years and change.
Is it still under 4
for the average tenure of a Super Bowl player?
Because I remember when I was there, it was 3.5.
So even though these quarterbacks are going into their second decades of play, the average player who will set on foot on that field in Santa Clara, California, will have been in the league under 4 years.
Oh yeah, yeah, because they're linebackers, they're linemen, they're in the line of fire.
But doesn't that also speak to the way these teams under the salary cap have to be built to get to the Super Bowl? Like, you just can't afford that many veterans.
No, you got to pay them too much. You got to have draft picks. The same thing we've talked about.
Which harkens back to your draft pick thing.
Yeah.
The fact that they've got 7th rounders on the field, the fact that they're starting 2 middle rounders is what has given the New England Patriots the opportunity to be here. And it's what's going to hold some teams back from getting there.
Yeah.
Like the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to get younger.
Yeah. 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 When I, in that player personnel business, I think there's certain people like Brad Holmes that has a unique way of evaluating football players more on football skill than 40 times or anything like that. I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly what it is because it changes from defense to offense to, how do you pick Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 3rd round? And he ends up, he's a Pro Bowl player that everybody missed in the first 2 rounds. Like little things like that. What do you see that sets players apart from others? And I don't know that. I don't. And maybe you're just got it or you don't.
I don't
know.
I do think that there is another test that they have to bring into the combines. I've thought about this for a long time. It's a crossover from what we do in
I mean, they test them for everything. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you one that they don't.
Okay.
Now, they do this anecdotally in their observations of a player, and I'm sure that there are some people who have a shorthand scoring system for this. But I have never seen the assessment like the Wonderlic, right, for your intelligence on the field.
Yes.
The personal motivation that a player has. Like we have something in healthcare that's called the PAM score. It's a personal activation measure or performance activation measure. I can't remember exactly. But there are ways that you can score someone's personal motivation. Like, how were they raised? Do they have 2 parents that were disciplining them, right? Like if you look at the Amon-Ra situation, you got a dad who was Mr. Universe, who was in the military, a mom who speaks multiple languages. Like there was education in the household, there was motivation in the household, there was physical discipline in the household. Like I would put a double asterisk and circle any NFL football player who gets through a high-level college career and his parents were in the military. If a guy comes from a military family, I want that discipline in my locker room.
Here's the problem. 70% of NFL football players come from absolutely nothing. That's the only way you get, I mean nothing.
There's different kinds of nothing.
I'm talking nothing. You're on food stamps, your mom's getting money from the government, and you're barely making it by with enough food every day.
I'll give you.
That's the truth.
Well, there are a lot of those, and I agree with you. But there are
a lot more than not.
There are Dak Prescott situations where single mom, though, is an incredible disciplinarian trying to keep the things together. There are. We'll switch sports here. Jalen Rose, right? Jalen Rose, his father was an NBA player, but he didn't know his father.
Yeah.
He didn't know his biological father. His mom did the raising. And then he had a mentor in Sam Washington Sr. at St. Cecilia who could step in and be that role model. Like, you got to peel back the onion a couple of layers. It isn't just, did they have 2 parents? I'm not saying that having a nuclear family is the thing, but did they have a support system, and did they show that they could be disciplined in a number of situations? When you've shown that you lack discipline, like we have seen many times, or when you show that the bright lights can be too bright, that it can be too hot under the spotlight for you, I start to see chinks in the armor a lot more apparently.
Okay. So let's go to the opposite end. How many football players did we ever play with that came from a rich family? How many?
It would be few.
It's very few. I'm talking rich. Why would you ever play football?
Right.
Right? If your dad was going to leave you 10, 20 million bucks, would you ever put on a football helmet? Hell no.
That very important egg on the top of your shoulders is always at risk.
Like it's like an MMA fighter. Those guys are dirt balls. They grew up with nothing.
Dana White's going to love that. Is that a new marketing spiel?
It's the truth. There is no...
Watch the UFC on Paramount Plus.
There is no...
dirt ball heaven.
There are no silver spoons in MMA, and there's not many in football. That's my point.
No, it's because it's all you could do to get out of your current situation. You wouldn't do it.
No.
Right? Like,
no, hell
if
no.
I could be a lawyer,
yes.
if I had that skill set, I wouldn't be ramming my head into you or throwing kicks at your head.
If my parents wired me $5,000 a week every week for, the whole year, and there's a lot of people that have that kind of money that parents do that. Well, not mine.
Yeah.
and not yours.
But you know where I'm going with this. Because I know they have the Myers-Briggs scores and these scores about your personality and what your aptitudes are. I think they only go so far. I would like to get into a psychosocial scoring mechanism that really looked at motivation and discipline.
I don't think there is one.
No, I'm agreeing.
I mean, there's not. I don't think there is one.
That's what would need to be invented.
Like, an example would be like, I'll use Steve Boyd that I played with in the Lions. He was a Pro Bowl linebacker.
Boston College.
Played at BC, was All-American.
Good Jesuit school.
Fifth round draft pick. He could drink two.
I think he was a third round pick.
He was fifth round. He was fifth. He could drink 2 cases of beer on Friday or Saturday night and get up and ball on Sunday.
Yeah.
Didn't matter.
No problem operating heavy machinery for him?
No, and I want to say that his family was, they were from somewhere in New York, but like on Long Island. But I want to say his family was not rich. He's a school teacher now, coaches football. He's, a normal guy, but they weren't from money. But it didn't matter. He could just ball.
You could see.
He could just play. And I could beat him by 10 yards in a 40, but I couldn't play football like him.
No.
Right?
And both of the teams that we have going into this Super Bowl have stories like that on both sides of the ball.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't had a chance to really dig in and watch JSN play for a whole game, just like I'm on St. Brown, he just has a feel for where to go and where to be to get open. He's got the leverage points.
Kind of the sad thing is, how many Seattle games are on TV?
I know.
Or New England? Neither, obviously.
Well, New England disappeared with the Belichick fallout.
And all of a sudden, I'll remember, and then all of a sudden they were like 8-2 or something.
And I'm like, what?
How in the hell? I don't even know who plays for. I know Drake May, but I didn't even know who plays for New England.
Yeah.
Then you finally get to watch a game, and it's a bunch of guys you never heard of.
Yeah. I remember I tuned into the game, and I was like, I think the only guys I'm going to know in this game are Stevenson, the running back, and Drake May. And Stevenson was out.
Yeah. So Travion Henderson.
I knew when this team started, I knew Ellis at linebacker and Gonzalez, but on the offense, I knew, this is going into the fantasy football draft, Stevenson, Drake May, and Hunter Henry, the tight end.
Travion Diggs.
Well, Travion Henderson was the...
Diggs.
I wasn't...
Stefan Diggs.
Stefan Diggs, right? I wasn't going to draft him, right?
Yeah.
Guys who were... where you're looking at on your board, you didn't look at New England and think they have enough tools in the tool shed to get somewhere.
Yeah. No.
I mean, you and I both said that they were insignificant in the preseason. That was one of the teams that you could write off.
Well, they didn't make any big signings before the season. They just had a hell of a draft, obviously, by the draft picks we've talked about. But they didn't make any, Stefan Diggs probably and he's old.
Yeah, and I think
he's getting old.
The only one of the good calls that we made in the preseason is I think both of us recognized that this Sam Darnold thing could really backfire on the Vikings.
Yeah.
Don't throw out Sam Darnold because he had a bad game against the Detroit Lions. That was a pretty good Detroit Lions team that went 15-2.
How do you gauge that? Do you just get Minnesota should just get rid of all their player personnel people because nobody stood up and said we got to keep Sam Darnold for less money than we got to pay,
And you and I just talked about the fact that the J.J. McCarthy play is the friendly play for the cap table.
Oh, yeah.
The salary cap, in order for them to get the rest of the pieces.
You know what? Kicking a field goal is a friendly play, too. You know what I mean? How do you – some of these decisions is you wonder how they're made. Are they made – is it – when Dan Campbell, when he sits down and he talks to ownership, which he's got to answer to ownership, and he answers to player personnel, right? And says, I'm going to go for it on every fourth down, every game, all year.
Please don't say that again.
Is that what he does? I don't know. And I played, but it doesn't mean that I know what goes on behind closed doors with ownership.
I'm not afraid to tell you when you got an ugly baby, and that is an ugly baby. The philosophy,
unless it works and they win the Super Bowl, then they say he's a genius. Everybody should do it.
It just doesn't play in big games when points are a premium. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So when I look,
so when it snows, you should kick field goals. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not going to be afraid to kick a field goal in the snow.
Okay.
The kickers practice in the snow. They practice under all conditions.
Yeah.
They set this up so that they're wearing the right cleats for their plant foot.
So on 4th and 1, you shouldn't go for it. 4th and 2, you shouldn't go for it. You should we're already second guessing.
I'm not second guessing. I like going for fourth downs when I have the momentum, right? Like if I feel like the situation, I've got my starting quarterback, right? Like what are the situations where I don't want to go for it? When I know points are going to premium because I got my backup quarterback in there. When I'm trying to build momentum, I want to take the points. If the thing is rolling downhill at 100 miles an hour, of course I'm going to go for it on fourth down. I want to snatch their soul away from them.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But when I'm just building the momentum and I got a brand new guy under center.
Yeah. It'd be nice to be up by 3.
Wouldn't it be nice to have been up by 10?
Yeah. Or up by 10.
Like now I got a buffer.
Because then it flipped. Yeah. Then it flipped and it turned right around.
Everything turned around on them.